Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're posing the question, is there fault divorce in Thailand? And for those who are unaware of what fault divorce is or no fault divorce, in the common law systems, at least in the United States, if you go back about 100 years ago, they used to have what was called fault divorce, which that means, and I believe, and somebody in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in New York they still have something similar to this. I'm not a New York attorney, I don't know, but it's my understanding that still New York pays some lip service to the notion of kind of a fault divorce system, although as a practical matter it's effectively very much like a no-fault divorce system. In the fault divorce system, you had to show cause, and you had to show that there was sort of an injuring party in the underlying marriage whose fault it was, if you will, that the marriage was ending. And things like adultery, irreconcilable differences, the abandonment, these things would come up in a fault divorce setting. No fault divorce came along later and kind of replaced that. That's not really within the bailiwick of this video. But the question posed is, in Thailand, do they have fault divorce? And in a sense, they do. And let's be clear, I'm doing another video contemporaneously with this one where we kind of compare no fault divorce to Thai divorce. But in this video, we're talking fault divorce. To be clear, there is a civil registrar system in Thailand whereby if one meets the not meets the requirements, one has to show that they are legally married to somebody. They have to prove their identity to the relevant government officer at a given civil registrar office. And upon providence of that information and documentation, the parties, if they consent, can just sign off on a divorce. And right then and there, they're just divorced and they're done. It's a civil registrar system. If they fail to come to a consensus, to come to an agreement regarding dissolution of a marriage, then effectively, in my opinion, you do kind of go into something akin to the fault divorce, to a divorce wherein you're looking at having to prove up why you want to get divorced, the reasoning behind it. Again, it's not an apples to apples comparison. U.S. common law, for example, is very different than the Thai civil law. Common law generally is different than the civil law. And then Thailand has its own way of doing things. So I'm not going to call this an apples to apples comparison, but the way to look at it for somebody who's looking at divorce, probably a layman watching this video, if you can't come to an agreement to go ahead and sign off on a divorce together at the civil registrar's office, you're going to end up in a proceeding that's not very much unlike the fault divorce system in many common law jurisdictions as it existed some roughly 7,500 years ago.